Forbidden attraction is one of the most powerful, yet misunderstood forces in human psychology. It operates in the shadows, existing in the tension between what a woman feels and what she is supposed to feel. This isn't the loud, obvious flirting you see in movies. It is a silent physiological shift. It begins as a raw instinct that bypasses her brain entirely. Before she can remind herself of her loyalty or her social status, her body has already reacted to your presence. This creates an internal battleground where her logic fights to suppress her biology. If you are looking for grand gestures or verbal confessions, you will never see it. You have to look for the cracks in her armor, those fleeting moments where her composure slips and her true energy leaks out. Most men fail to recognize these signs because they expect women to be direct. But when attraction is forbidden, directness is the enemy. A woman will protect her reputation and her existing relationship with everything she has. She will layer her behavior with politeness, professional distance, or even intentional coldness to mask the pull she feels toward you. This is why you must understand the concept of microsignals. These are the 2-second windows where her guard drops, a look that lingers a breath too long, a nervous adjustment of her clothes when you walk in, or a sudden change in her vocal pitch. She isn't trying to send you a message, she is trying to hide one. The conflict makes her behavior inconsistent, which is the biggest clue of all. Chemistry is an equalizer that doesn't respect the rules of society or the boundaries of a relationship. You can have a woman who is logically committed and morally upright, yet her nervous system still chooses you. It's important to realize that desire doesn't ask for permission. It doesn't for a wedding ring or a taken status. When that magnetic pull exists, it creates a gravitational field around her. Even if she stays on the other side of the room, her body will often be angled toward you. Her ears will be tuned to the frequency of your voice, and her mind will be scanning for your reaction. She is trapped in a loop of being physically present with her partner, but emotionally and chemically tethered to you. Understanding this truth isn't about manipulation or ego. It is about gaining a deep masculine clarity. When you can see through the logic a woman presents and read the underlying emotional truth, you stop being confused by her mixed signals. You stop chasing ghosts and start seeing the world as it actually is. You begin to understand that a woman's loyalty can coexist with curiosity. Once you master the ability to spot these forbidden markers, you gain a level of psychological awareness that most men will never possess. You become the man who knows what is happening in the room without a single word being spoken. You see the reality of her desire, even while she is working overtime to make sure it stays a secret. 1. The emotional slip. Every woman in a relationship operates with a psychological firewall. This is her invisible shield, a mental barrier she maintains to protect her loyalty, her partner's feelings, and the social image she has spent years building. However, no matter how strong that shield is, forbidden attraction is like a liquid. It always finds the microscopic cracks. This emotional slip is the most revealing moment in human interaction because it is entirely involuntary. It happens when her emotional brain moves faster than her logical brain. For a split second, her feelings override her rules, and she reveals a level of interest that her conscious mind hasn't yet given her permission to show. It isn't a verbal confession, but in the world of high-stakes attraction, it is the moment her internal control fails, and the truth leaks out. You will notice this slip most clearly in the pacing and nature of her communication. When a woman is secretly drawn to you, her curiosity will occasionally beat her sense of responsibility to the finish line. She might ask you a personal question, something about your life, your past, or your weekend, and she'll ask it just a little too quickly or with a bit too much intensity. This isn't the polite, surface-level small talk she'd use with a casual acquaintance or a colleague. There is an unmistakable softness in her tone, an unplanned warmth that colors her voice. It's the kind of tone reserved for someone who matters. The moment the words leave her mouth, her logical brain usually catches up, and you'll see the reset happen. She might physically stiffen, look away, or try to redirect the conversation to something safe. This sudden shift back to professional or neutral is actually the biggest confirmation that the slip was real. She's terrified of how much she just revealed. Genuine attraction is impossible to stage because it is governed by the autonomic nervous system. She can spend all day practicing a distant expression or a polite smile, but she cannot control the light in her eyes. When she looks at you during an emotional slip, her eyes will soften or sparkle in a way she didn't calculate. You might catch a micro-expression, a genuine, unfiltered smile that disappears as quickly as it arrived. These moments are brief, often lasting only a second or two, but they are the most honest communication you will ever receive from her. She is fighting an internal war between the person she is supposed to be and the person who is naturally responding to your presence. The slip is the proof that at least for that moment, your energy has won. 2. The magnetic attention shift. Attention is the ultimate currency of human desire. We don't spend it on things that don't matter to us, and women in particular are highly strategic with where they direct their focus. When a woman is playing the role of a committed partner, she will try to keep her attention firmly anchored to her responsibilities or her boyfriend. But forbidden attraction creates a magnetic pull that shifts her internal compass. Even if she is standing on the other side of the room, she has a quiet instinctive awareness of exactly where you are and what you are doing. This isn't about her staring at you boldly, it's much more subtle and much more powerful. It's an energetic tether that connects her focus to your presence, regardless of who else is in the room. The most common sign of this shift is the flicker. This is the quick glance that snaps away the very instant your eyes meet hers. It's not the confident gaze of a single woman, it's the panicked look of someone who has been caught doing something they shouldn't be doing. Her brain has started to prioritize you as a primary stimulus, meaning you have become the most important thing in her environment. This is why she will hear your laugh from across a noisy room, even while she is in the middle of a conversation with her own partner. Her ears are tuned to your frequency. She isn't just listening to you, she is monitoring you. She is tracking your movements and your interactions because her subconscious mind is hungry for data about the man who has triggered this forbidden response. Because she is hyper-focused on you, she will begin to notice the smallest, most trivial details that everyone else misses. She'll notice if you've trimmed your beard, if you're wearing a new watch, or if your mood seems slightly off. She becomes a silent observer of your world, collecting breadcrumbs of information because she can't help herself. This level of observation is never accidental. It is a direct result of emotional investment. While she may tell herself and the world that she is just being friendly, her selective attention proves otherwise. Attention is the one part of the attraction process that refuses to be edited or faked. If her focus keeps finding its way back to you despite her best efforts to look away, the magnetic shift is complete. She is no longer just in the room with you. She is emotionally engaged with you. 3. The nervous energy shift. A woman's words can be carefully rehearsed, and her logic can be perfectly polished, but her physiology tells a truth that is brutally honest and impossible to edit. When a woman is in the presence of a man she is secretly drawn to, especially when that attraction is forbidden, her internal emotional voltage begins to spike. This isn't something she chooses. It is an involuntary surge of adrenaline and dopamine that creates a complex cocktail of excitement, guilt, and raw tension. Because she cannot express these feelings out loud, the energy has to go somewhere, and it almost always leaks out through her body language. She is essentially a pressurized system trying to maintain a calm exterior while her nervous system is firing on all cylinders. If you want to read the reality of her desire, you must stop listening to what she says and start watching her hands, her neck, and her posture. You will see her fidgeting with her jewelry, twisting a ring or constantly adjusting her hair. Not because she's bored, but because she's trying to discharge the excess energy building up inside her. She might touch her neck or the hollow of her throat, which is a classic pacifying behavior used to soothe internal anxiety. You'll see her shift her weight restlessly or breathe a little more shallowly. These are all physical attempts to stabilize an internal spike in her system. She is literally trying to hold herself together because the magnetic pull she feels is threatening to destabilize her composure. Sometimes this nervous energy manifests in a way that most men completely misinterpret: stiffness. You might notice her become suddenly uncharacteristically shy, overly serious, or even slightly cold. Many men see this and think they've done something wrong or that she isn't interested. In reality, the exact opposite is often true. She is being stiff because she is terrified that if she relaxes for even a second, her true feelings will become obvious. She's overcorrecting. This emotional rigidity is a defense mechanism. She's fighting a silent, exhausting war between her loyalty to her current situation and her primal instincts. When she goes quiet or acts formal, she isn't rejecting you. She's actively suppressing the version of herself that wants to lean in and connect. 4. Subtle jealousy. Jealousy is one of the most powerful and revealing human emotions because it acts as a raw, unfiltered exposure of desire. It is the one thing a woman cannot logically justify when the attraction is supposed to be forbidden, yet it is the one thing she cannot fully hide. A woman who feels nothing for you will be completely indifferent to who you talk to, who makes you laugh, or who stands a little too close to you. She has no stake in your attention. But a woman who is secretly into you views your attention as a valuable resource, even if she knows she shouldn't. Because she has no official right to be possessive, her jealousy has to stay underground, which makes it even more intense and revealing. The most telling sign occurs the moment another woman enters the frame. If you want to see the truth, don't watch the person talking to you. Watch the woman who is secretly attracted to you. You will see her expression harden for a tiny millisecond, a flash of irritation or coldness that crosses her face before she remembers to mask it. She might suddenly go quiet, withdrawing from the conversation as a way of emotionally freezing out of discomfort. Conversely, she might do the exact opposite and become unexpectedly competitive. She might raise her energy, speak louder, or drop a subtle comment to reclaim the spotlight. She is instinctively trying to re-establish her gravitational pull over you, because the thought of your focus shifting to another woman stings her in a way she can't explain to anyone else. This hidden jealousy eventually forces her to seek information. She will ask innocent questions that are designed to sound like casual curiosity, but are actually intelligence-gathering missions. She'll ask, "Oh, how do you know her?" Or, "Is she a close friend of yours?" But if you listen closely, the tone behind the question will be tight, guarded, or slightly forced. She is trying to gauge the threat level of other women in your life. Even though she is with someone else, she is quietly guarding an emotional territory around you that she hasn't even admitted she wants to claim. This behavior proves that you aren't just another person in her life. You are someone she feels a sense of ownership over, driven by a chemistry that ignores her relationship status entirely. 5. Selective vulnerability. Vulnerability is the ultimate doorway to the human soul, and it is a door that women do not open for men they find uninteresting or irrelevant. In the world of female psychology, emotional access is far more significant than physical access. When a woman is in a committed relationship, she is supposed to reserve her deepest thoughts, her rawest fears, and her private triumphs for her partner. But when a forbidden attraction takes root, those boundaries begin to bend and blur. She starts offering you selective vulnerability, small, intimate pieces of her internal world that she isn't giving to anyone else, including the person she is supposed to be closest to. She is essentially leaning on you for emotional fulfillment while maintaining the outer shell of her current relationship, creating a secret bridge between her heart and yours. This rarely looks like a dramatic confession or a deep heart-to-heart right away. Instead, it starts with her dropping the polite mask that she wears for the rest of the world. While she might tell a colleague or a casual friend that her day was fine, she will tell you how it really went. She'll share the frustration she felt at a meeting, a weird dream she had, or a childhood memory that suddenly bubbled up to the surface. By doing this, she is testing the waters. She is inviting you into her private mental space to see if you will meet her there. This isn't just talking, it is an attempt to create emotional resonance. She is looking for a reflection of herself in you. She wants to be understood by you on a level that feels deeper and more significant than the surface-level interactions she has with everyone else. What makes this truly forbidden is the context of her disclosure. When she tells you something she hasn't mentioned to her inner circle or even her partner, she is creating a secret world that only the two of you inhabit. This selective access is her way of showing you that you are special, even if she can never say it out loud. She wants to be seen by you, not just as a friend, a co-worker, or an acquaintance, but as a woman seeking the attention of a specific man. She is looking for your validation, your perspective, and your strength. This opening is almost never accidental. It is a subconscious signal that you have bypassed her logical defenses and entered her heart long before her mind was ever ready to admit it. You will notice the shift in the way she communicates her needs and her moods. She might become uncharacteristically honest about her insecurities or ask for your advice on something deeply personal. By making herself weak or open in front of you, she is actually displaying a massive amount of trust, which is a primary building block of deep attraction. She is emotionally investing in you, and where emotional investment goes, desire inevitably follows. Every time she chooses to confide in you instead of her partner, she is taking a brick out of the wall of her current relationship and using it to build a foundation with you. It is a quiet, powerful transition where she begins to value your presence as her primary source of emotional safety, revealing a hidden bond that is far more intense than any official title could ever describe. The bottom line. Forbidden attraction is not a sign of moral failure, nor is it a stain on someone's character. It is a fundamental reality of human psychology. We like to pretend that our hearts and bodies follow a strict set of social rules, but the truth is that attraction begins with resonance, not intention. You don't choose to feel chemistry with someone, and she doesn't choose to have her nervous system spike when you walk into the room. It is a biological reaction that happens long before logic has a chance to intervene. Understanding this allows you to look at these situations with a sense of maturity and detachment. You realize that while a woman might be loyal, she is still human, and her instincts are capable of being triggered by a man who carries himself with the right kind of energy and presence. This isn't about good or bad, it's about how we are wired. However, having the ability to read these signs is not an invitation to dive into a messy, complicated situation. These signals are warnings, not green lights. When you see a woman struggling with forbidden attraction, you are witnessing an internal conflict, not a state of readiness. She is caught between her current life and an impulsive pull toward you, and that is a recipe for chaos. A man who truly understands social dynamics knows that just because the attraction is there doesn't mean it should be acted upon. If you pursue a woman who is in the middle of this silent war, you aren't winning. You are stepping into a minefield of guilt, indecision, and drama. Real power comes from recognizing the pull and choosing to remain unshakable, rather than being dragged down into the mess. When you master the ability to read these signals, you gain a brand of calm masculine power that most men will never understand. You stop being the guy who is constantly confused by mixed signals or led on by friendly behavior. You start seeing reality with surgical precision. You can walk into a room and feel the shifts in tension, notice the selective focus, and see the emotional slips for exactly what they are. This clarity removes the anxiety from your interactions. You no longer have to wonder, does she or doesn't she? Because you can see the truth written in her physiology. This knowledge gives you the freedom to choose your own path. You aren't reacting to her anymore. You are observing the game from a higher vantage point. Ultimately, this level of awareness leads you to a profound realization. The right woman for you, the one who will actually build a life with you, won't communicate in forbidden signals. She won't hide her attraction behind layers of conflict or leave you to decode her nervous energy from the sidelines. She will meet you with intentionality. While you may affect many women deeply, the woman you should truly invest in is the one who chooses to be open. She won't make you play a guessing game or wait for her guard to drop for 2 seconds. She will lean into the connection with clarity and purpose.